Alright guys, so today's video is on the final UX3000 hybrid active noise cancelling headphones. Now this is a pair of noise cancelling headphones that has multi-point connection. It also has aptX and aptX low latency playback, and it comes in at $149. Now this is from a company, if you're not familiar with vinyl, they make higher end IEMs and earbuds and things like that, because we've checked out the ZE8000, which was a very pricey pair of noise cancelling earbuds, but the sound quality on those blew me away. So when I saw that they had a pair of noise cancelling headphones at this price tag, it definitely piqued my interest. So we're going to talk about a lot of the features, we're going to talk about the sound, what all you get inside the box, and basically see why I think this is the headphone to beat, coming in at $149. Now, as far as the look and the design of these headphones, there is absolutely nothing standing out about this pair. Now, it says that it has this Shibo finish to it, which basically is a finish that you see on like DSLR or mirrorless cameras. This keeps from there showing like fingerprints, so it always kind of looks clean, but it is just not a fancy design at all. Now, because it has an all plastic build, it definitely keeps these being light. It does feel a little on the cheap side because of the all plastic build, but it does have a pleather headband that goes all the way across the top, and the padding on the ear pads is very soft. It's like a memory foam ear pad. It reminds me a lot of like Bose and their ear pads, so comfort is not an issue with this pair at all. Now, it does fold inward to be able to put in the pouch that it comes with, and I wish it would have come with a hard case like a lot of the other noise cancelling headphones, but all you're getting is that simple drawstring pouch. And then the only other things that come in the box is a 3.5mm cable, because you can use these wired, and it comes with a USB-C cable to charge these. And speaking of the charging, I think the battery life on these are just okay. If you're going to use them with the noise cancelling off, you can squeeze about 35 hours out of these. But if you use them with the noise cancelling on, it brings it all the way down to about 25 hours. Now, obviously, that's going to get everybody through a full day. Most people would be able to use these for weeks without even having to charge these. And they also have a 400-hour standby time. So, you know, if you're somebody that doesn't really use your headphones often, it's nice to know that when you go to use them, that 9 times out of 10 they're still going to have plenty of battery life. Now, one thing I do want to point out about these is on the box it says that it has an app. Most noise cancelling headphones have an app where you can have EQ options, keep your headphones updated, mess around with some controls and some different features. But the app does not work on these. In fact, you even scan a QR barcode on the back, and it basically says that the English version of the app is just not available. So I wasn't able to test the app. I was able to just use the headphones as they were out of the box. But luckily, that really didn't affect my overall opinion, other than the fact that I don't like promoting that there's an app for a device that there's not. Now, as far as anything else on the headphones, it does use physical, like tactile buttons for controls. A lot of people have gotten used to or prefer the swipe controls, or either like just touching the outside of the headphones. I am not the biggest fan of this because, you know, normally you can have accidental touches. So I do like the fact that they're using physical buttons here. Although it is very clicky, it's loud. You can hear it when you have the headphones on. But luckily they do allow you to control everything. You have your play, pause, your volume control, your track control, and you also have a noise cancelling button to turn your noise cancelling on or off. And really, that's the only modes that you have. You can either have the noise cancelling on, or you just turn it off altogether. And the noise cancelling on these, I feel like, is very effective. It is definitely not at that Sony and Bose level, but it does a really good job, at least with lower tones like AC units and engine noises and things like that. So if you're traveling, it's nice to know that it will dull out the sound of the plane engine. But if people are talking and things like that, it really doesn't block a whole lot of that out. Now, I will say that the noise cancelling does affect the sound, and this could be good for some or it could be bad for some. It just kind of depends on your preference. It basically is taking something that is very mid-focus and it's elevating the low end and the treble. It makes it more of a dynamic sounding pair of headphones when you have the noise canceling on. But we'll talk about that in just a second once we get to the sound. And if you're going to use these for taking phone calls, I think they did a pretty good job here. I think it does a really good job of picking up my voice, but also does a pretty decent job of blocking out people talking around me or any noise that's going on. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here's the mic test using the Final UX 3000s. And again, I think it's doing a really good job of picking up my voice, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. Now here's the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. Now this is the huge selling point on these headphones. Now the company Final is basically like an audiophile company. Again, they're mainly focused on higher end IEMs. Obviously, they're making Bluetooth headphones and earbuds to just kind of fit into the market. And I honestly think, although sound is subjective, it is going to be extremely hard to find a better sounding pair of headphones, not only in this price range, but out of all of the noise canceling headphones that are out there. And I'm including the Sonys, the Bose, the Sennheisers, all of those. I think there's something going on pretty special about the sound when it comes to these. Now, like I said, if you're going to use these with the noise canceling off, which is the way that it's set out of the box, the sound is fairly neutral for the most part. I would say that there's a lot of focus on the mids. I felt like vocalists stood out with the way that it sounded out of the box. But my way that I preferred to listen to these was with the noise canceling on. This is where it just kind of brought these to life. The bass was definitely elevated. It became very punchy. It even has that slight rumble to give you that subwoofer type sound. And the treble became pretty bright. Now, some people might actually think that these are too bright if you're going to listen to these at loud volumes, because the cymbals crashing can start to sound a little harsh. The hi-hats, when it comes to different beats and things, even at times can sound a little harsh there as well. But it definitely matches well with the low end that these have. And no matter what, it did not affect the mids. The mids on these, I think, are what makes these so special. Because a lot of other headphones, it starts to sound digital, or it starts to sound even muddy or congested when it comes to different genres that utilize a lot of low end. And nothing affects these except for genres that are chaotic. And this is kind of going more towards like rock and metal, because when there's a lot of things going on, it starts to slightly dampen the sound a little bit. It starts to kind of dampen the treble just a tad, and it brings the mids back like maybe a notch or two. Now, this isn't like, one of those that's over the top where it just completely ruins the music, but it is something I wanted to point out because it does kind of veil it or dull it down just a little bit. And when it comes to the soundstage and the sound imaging, this is another area I was just extremely impressed with these. It sounded like I was in a very large environment, and being able to tell where sounds were coming from, these had no issues with. So now when it comes to grading these into the different genres that a lot of people listen to, this is almost the same across the board. If you listen to pop or hip hop, I give these a solid 9. If you listen to rock or metal, this is where I dipped it down to an 8, because like I said, if there's going to be a lot going on, it did pull back a little on the mid-range and the treble. But if you listen to easy listening, where these really shine with vocals, this is where I give these a 10. And then also with media, because of the aptX low latency that these have, I give these a 9 here, because you don't really have to worry too much about lag or anything when it comes to movies, videos, or games. So my overall rating on these is a solid 9. And the only thing keeping these from being a 10 is the fact that, it's just little things, and it's really more from a design standpoint. I would have liked to have seen, something with a more unique design. I mean, these look pretty bland. I also would have liked to have seen these come with a hard case, and I don't think the noise canceling is near as effective as some of the other big brands out there. Now, it's not saying that the noise canceling isn't good, it's just not on that great level. But outside of that, for $150, you're getting aptX low latency and aptX playback. You're getting multi-point connection, so you can connect to 2 devices at the same time. And you're also getting hi-fi tuning that a lot of these other headphones don't have. This is a very detailed sounding earbud that still allows them to be fun. There's still a lot of punch in the low end. I think bass heads will be happy. I think purists will be happy because if you listen to them with the noise canceling off, you're getting something that's a lot closer to a reference or flatter sound signature. Now, I'm not going to say that it is a reference sound signature. It still has a slight boost in the low end, and the mids are elevated just slightly. But the dynamic sound that these have with the noise canceling on, again, is still my way that I preferred to listen to these. And I just think this is an absolute steal and pretty much an impossible headphone to beat when it comes to sound quality on wireless noise canceling headphones. So guys, that wraps up my video on the final UX 3000 noise canceling headphones. Again, I'm just so impressed top to bottom. I think if you're somebody that's mainly looking at features, you'll probably be a little disappointed. But if you are somebody looking purely on sound on a pair of wireless headphones, these are just incredible. But thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.